Good evening and welcome to the Formula Racing League Assetto Corsa Competizione. Round 4 of the Taco Tuesday series takes us to Kyalami, South Africa. And we are seeing drivers completing their final few laps in this practice session before the 50-minute qualifying session commences, followed by a 60-minute race after that. Tom Cairns is your commentator, and I'll provide you with the details during the course of the next hour and a half or so. And one man who will be going into this round with a bundle of confidence, that is the number 48 BMW of Rapidoc, as he looks to extend his lead at the top of the championship over Ray Thomas, or Superkart Ray as he's otherwise known as. 22 points the gap between the driver in the lead and the driver in second position. Rapidoc going for glory again here in Kyalami, located near Johannesburg. It's a track that has hosted Formula 1 Grand Prix racing in the past, both on this layout and on a previous layout that was last used in 1985. That was the one where Nigel Mansell secured his second Grand Prix victory. And Kyalami had a 7-year hiatus before it returned to the Formula 1 calendar in 1992. And it was on the calendar for only 2 years, really, before it fell off the calendar. And Formula 1 has not returned to this track since. It is expected to come back onto the F1 calendar in the near future. It's just a question of which year that will be. Well, last week at Silverstone, that played host to a 90-minute special. Rapidoc won out in the end over Hutchinson, who finished in a brilliant second position. He fought it out with him in the opening stages, but then just fell back, really, as the race developed more and more, and was content to finish second, which has moved him up to 6th overall in the Drivers' Championship. And completing the podium was Vodka in the 212 Porsche, who needed that result very much after a tricky start to the season. Below par performances at the Hungaroring and Suzuka. We've got a couple of reserve drivers in for this evening. Now, Drifter, who's currently 5th at the moment in this practice session, he has come in. He's in the 511 Aston Martin. And the other reserve driver that has been called in should be Brandon Glover. Now, he wasn't around last week when it was expected that he would be joining. I don't know exactly what's happened involving him, but I'd like to think he'll be in the lobby in time before qualifying commences. So P. David, fastest of all so far in the Honda. Rapidoc in P2, and it's Dim Adjuster and Vodka in 3rd and 4th. Do feel free to get involved in the live chat if you ever so wish to do. So we've got a couple of full-time drivers missing tonight. Jones is one of them, or Esso as he's otherwise known as. And we've also got Fighter missing. So as we see, the likes of Lewis Robinson and Hutchison, the two teammates in BMWs. Now, I will mention that only drivers' 9 best scores will count towards the championship. We are at round 4 of the season, and it's a 10-round championship, so the driver's least score will be discounted. In terms of the team's championship, well, that will stay the same. In the team's championship, it's the FRL Admin Elite Motorsports squad in the lead by 6 points over ProMotion Motorsport in second, with Tuga Racing Team another 2 points adrift in third, with TK Rex Motorsport in fourth and Infinite Racing in fifth. Now, in terms of who is in those teams, well, at the FRL Admin Elite Motorsports squad, they are Hutchison and Robinson. The ProMotion Motorsports squad are Ray Thomas and Law. Tuga Racing Team got Rapid Duck and Rui, who should be back tonight after he was, I think he was around for Silverstone last week. Yeah, I don't think he actually finished the race that time. TK Rex Motorsport, Morex and Farclub Provincial alongside as teammates there, and Infinite Racing, Will Freeman and Esser. Will Freeman will be the team's sole representative for the event here in Kyalami tonight. Not expecting any rain during qualifying or the race, as far as I know. So P. David coming through in the Honda. Now, 2 drivers who have had their scores reset for changing cars. They are Aldori in the Aston Martin, and the other driver that has changed his livery is Clates in the Mercedes AMG. Now Clate had 26 points before this round, but because of his change of car, he now loses those points. As far as Aldori is concerned, he only picked up a 10th place finish so far this season. Or I say that, he got a 22nd, he got a 10th and a 7th before tonight at Silverstone and Suzuka. I forgot to mention the 11th place finish for Aldori as well. Or for Clate, sorry, at Silverstone 7 days back. We're into the final minute of practice. MP David is still fastest on a 1:42.1 with Rapid Duck in P2. Dim Adjuster up to third, which is nice to see. Ahead of Vodka and Drifter doing a fine job in the Aston Martin in P5. Aldori's in the pits at the moment, as is Law. Will Freeman has crossed over the line and he's in P8 with Hudson and Robinson running out the top 10. And the checker flag has fallen, but there are drivers who are trying to complete their last attempts. As far as I know, we've got 25 in the lobby. Make that 26 because Morris has just joined. We should be expecting, look at how many have checked in for tonight, 25 full-time drivers plus 2 reserves. So we should see 27. Last week we had 28. We were meant to be having 29. But Brandon Glover didn't wasn't able to join the server for whatever reason. So Freeman approaching the right-hander of Crocodile. And then through the last turn of Ingui. And Freeman is going to cross over the line. And he goes up to 6th place with that one. So it was a nice attempt on that last run. And El Prentice is also making his way in. He was the last man over the line, so we didn't quite see what lap time he did actually lose. He went up to 21st place, and less than 2 seconds off the pace. Qualifying underway then. 15 minutes, so not very long for these drivers to get the laps in. That will determine the grid for the 60-minute race. In terms of number of laps, that's very much anyone's guess. I would say we're definitely going to get over 30. I would say we're looking at around 34 or something like that. There is a mandatory pit stop involved. Don't need to refuel, but you do have to change tyres. Hopefully we'll have no one disconnecting from the server this time. So this Kyalami circuit first opened in 1961. Currently plays host to the Intercontinental GT Challenge Kyalami 9 Hours. Has hosted Formula 1 and the Motorcycle GP. And it also played host to A1 GP back in 2009, along with the Grand Prix Masters event in 2005 that featured the likes of Nigel Mansell, Derek Warwick, Pierluigi Martini, as far as I remember. In actual fact, Pierluigi Martini wasn't around for that particular one, but there were the likes of Emerson Fittipaldi, Riccardo Patrese, Andrea de Cesares, Derek Warwick, Hans-Joachim Stuck, and others on that list as well. The circuit's 4.5 kilometres long, 16 turns. And now we'll go to the first driver, which is MGK, because I think he was the first driver to head it out on circuit, but I might be wrong. Vitally important that you get tyre temperature. So what can MGK do here in this qualifying session? He has come close to achieving pole position earlier on in the season at the Hungaroring. But since then he's had a 10th and a 12th at Suzuka and Silverstone. So MGK looking to excel here and get his championship back on track. At the moment, as far as this season's concerned, he's lying in 7th, 39 points off the top, and that lap of his didn't count. It might have been an out lap he was doing. So we'll go to Hutchison then, because he's definitely on a flying lap unless he's exceeded track limit somewhere. So this lap didn't count actually, so he made a mistake somewhere. Busov was able to post the first time before Ray had beaten that by a 10th, but it's Rapiduc who sets the benchmark for everyone else to beat, 142.6, but P. David has displaced him 0.3 up on the BMW driver. Mikowski goes up to 6th place, Aldori 5th. Just 6 drivers so far made that 7th, because Dim Adjuster has gone up into 3rd position. And Vodka up to 5th now. Will Freeman 6th. And Davis Jr. He's now in 12th place, and many more drivers are crossing over the line. I expect the drivers to improve on these times next time around, so the track will continue to improve. It's in its optimum window at the moment. Track temperature 39 degrees Celsius, air temperature 35 degrees Celsius, so we could well see the tyres falling off before this session is over, unless drivers smartly pit in to get another set of slicks on. So 17 drivers have posted a lap time so far. Farclav's time is over 6 seconds off the pace, so it's not a very representative one, but at least it's a time rather than none at all. And Blair's gone 13th, MGK has gone 12th in the Ferrari. The Rapid Duck is coming round the last corner of Ingui. Onto the pit straight. And he doesn't improve on that effort and stays in P2, but he'll be happy with that so far. There's Freeman. And we've got what looks like the 3.36, although Robinson's yet to get a time on the board. He's had invalidated his time last time around, so he needs to get another one, or needs to go again, I should say. There's Frank in the McLaren, approaching the hairpin. And this time of his, is it good enough to move him up? It is, but only up to 21st position, so it's not a very good lap time there from Frank. And there's Moritz, as Robinson crosses over the line, and he goes up to 8th place. So just 3 drivers yet to post a time so far, with 8.5 minutes remaining here in Kyalami. Freeman goes P2. He's nearly 8 tenths off the pace, because P. David has put out a blinder of a lap that's moved him up to P1, or at least has extended his gap over everyone else. And there is Rapid Duck coming through Cheetah and lining his car up for Ingui. Now, where is this going to put him here? It should move him up the order into P2, I'd have thought. He does go P2 with a 142.3 by the looks of it, or 142.2, I should say. Palermo's gone up to 5th place. It's a nice effort from him. Got the 2-on-2 approaching the line. That is Vodka. Can he continue his form from last week? He goes up to P2. Nice lap indeed by Vodka in the Porsche. So he goes onto the front row provisionally, but there's still plenty of time for everything to change. We've got Frank coming through. Is this going to be an improvement? He's the slowest of all 26 so far. He goes up to 24th. And behind him is what looked like the... Is that the 34 of Farclav? It is, and he's got to P4. So Farclav finding a bag full of time from somewhere to put himself onto the second row. The 500 crossing over the line. Clate's gone up to 18th position. We've got another driver who crossed over the line. It was the 511. And that would be Drifter, who's in P6. It's not a bad effort from him so far. We had the number 14 cross over the line as well. That is Moggs, or at least Moggs was coming out of the pit lane. The race winner at the Hungaroring has not been in the best of form since then, so he needs to rebound from that. He is currently sitting in 13th in the Drivers' Championship on 55 points. 58 off the top. 2:17. Next up, there's Mikowski. He goes 21st, 1.6 seconds off the pace. Next is the 226 of Law, who goes P12. And we've got the 925 coming up. That is P. David. Does he improve his time from before? The answer is no. He still holds provisional pole so far. Got the 48 of Rapiduck, who doesn't improve either. Got the 434 of Dim Adjuster, who doesn't improve in the Audi. Got the 321 of Frank coming through, 2.6 seconds off the pace in 24th position. So we've got the Prentices on the final row of the grid at the moment. Frank has got an awful amount of time to find, really, before this session is over, to even move up one position. Now, there's Moggs, who runs wide on the exit there. I don't think this lap is going to count. I think it was his out lap anyway. But it might affect him on this lap, because if you exceed track limits on the exit of that last corner, your lap is already compromised before you've even started it. So we've got the 303 of David Senior, or Junior I should say, in 16th position. Busov in 8th position now. Drifter is now up to 5th, with Brazil down to 6th. So we've got Frank continuing to push, runs a little bit wide there on the exit. Of Lucott. We know what Frank can do, and we saw it at times in the Tier 3 category last season. He was able to show his qualifying form. He wasn't always consistent in the races. He improves on his lap time, but he stays in 24th place. The 212 is next. That is Vodka. Is this going to move him up the order with the attempt he's about to put in? Not that time around. 5 thousandths away from Rapiduck, who has managed to get his BMW back onto the front row. Drifter in 4th place now. Very close between 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Just over a couple of hundredths between those three. And Busov in the McLaren. Coming out of the last turn, is this going to be him going up a position or two? The answer is no. He drops down to 10th place because Aldori's displaced him. And MGK is 6th. Dim Adjuster continuing to push very, very hard in this qualifying session so far. The top 15 all within a second of each other. So 2 minutes to go. Can anyone find any more time on their last attempts? Dim Adjuster does not improve, stays where he is. MGK is on a lap at the moment. Robinson ducking into the pits. That'll be his session over, I would have thought. Pretty much. Aldori stopped out on circuit. Freeman looking to find an improvement from somewhere. His best qualifying this season has been 14th, and that was at the opening round at the Hungaroring. His best finish has been 4th at Suzuka. So essentially it's a qualifying average of 17.7 for Freeman. He's 8th so far, with over a minute remaining. Now Ray, who's crossing over the line now in the Mercedes AMG, does not improve, so he stays 19th. The driver who's sitting in 2nd place in the Drivers' Championship. There's Andy in the BMW, who came very close to a good finish at Silverstone, but a late stop and go penalty put paid to that. And he ended up with no points. He didn't complete the race distance, unfortunately. So he's had 2 DNFs to his name in 2 races that he's competed in. Law he's in 12th place. He's got 1 more chance to improve, though. Drifter's gone up to P2, though, and Rapiduck has also improved, so the track is improving. The times are coming down. P. David doesn't improve, but he'll have 1 more shot at it. Drifter is done for this session, so P2 or lower is where he'll end up. We've got the 555 coming round the last turn. That is Mertens. He's run wide, though, so I don't think this lap is going to count. And Mertens takes the checkerfied, doesn't improve. Palomo, 13th quickest in the Porsche. Vodka, only 4th. He cut down the gap, but it's not quite enough to move him onto the front row of the grid. Dim adjuster on a lap, but we'll go to Freeman, who's looking to continue his form. No improvement that time, so he stays in 8th position. Got the 303 of Davis Jr., only 18th. I'm not sure if he actually improved on that effort either, so he's going to leave himself with a lot to do in the race. And we've got the 34 coming through rather quickly, so we'll pick up on that. Posizel, he's had a strong qualifying session so far. Can he end it on a high? No, he won't. So he stays in 9th place, but I don't think anyone else is improving. There's P. David coming round in the Honda. And this lap time of his, does it improve? Massively. Big improvement. 1:41.4. So at the end of that session, it is P. David who becomes the 4th different pole sitter this season in Tier 1 in the Taco Tuesday series. With Drifter, the only reserve driver called in for tonight, on the front row next to him, with Rapiduck 3rd and Vodka in 4th position. Dim Adjuster and MGK will make up row 3 ahead of Lewis Robinson and Will Freeman, with Pavizel and Busov rounding out the top 10. Aldori and Moggs are next, followed by Law and Palermo. Morex, the race winner of Suzuka 2 weeks ago, is only 15th on the grid ahead of Mikowski. Hutchison, who finished 2nd last week at Silverstone, finds himself with a lot to do in the race from 17th place. Davis Jr. 18th ahead of Andy and Ray Thomas rounding up the top 20. Clay and Blair are 21st and 22nd, with Mertens in 23rd ahead of L. Prentice, with Jay Prentice and Frank rounding off the 26 car grid. 2.7 seconds separating the whole field. 1.7 seconds separating the top 21. We have got Pavizel coming round to head into the pit lane, so we've got a few minutes wait before the formation lap does begin. So Rapiduck continuing his good form in qualifying. Tenth in the Hungaroring, 5th at Suzuka, pole last week at Silverstone, 3rd here in Kyalami. And Fuvka has done very well as well, put himself in the top 4. He's actually been qualifying in the top 7 at every round so far this season. Top 4 in the last 3 races. So let us know who your money is on, as the drivers are on the grid now. We've got 3 minutes until the start of the formation lap. And Assetto, who hasn't been able to make it in tonight, has got in touch in the live chat talking about Will Freeman's performance in qualifying, showing how much of a pump it is from PS4 to PS5, which is true, to be fair, but it's a good step up. Now, I don't know for certain who is going to be starting from the pit lane. Now, before the race starts, we'll have a look to see if there's anyone that's decided to pit in. It's quite a long run down to the first corner here in these cars, so it could well be a few dive bombs from the drivers, or from some of the drivers anyway. But I'd like to think that the vast majority of them will be thinking about the last lap of the race rather than lap one. So can P. David get off the line fine this time? You remember he qualified well at Suzuka a couple of weeks back, but spun out after a few turns and left himself with too much to do, and he eventually called it quits. Well, he got to the end of the race, actually. He finished in 24th, which is still points, but his best finish this season has only been 15th last week. He's qualified third at Suzuka. He's got himself onto pole position here tonight. The drivers go off on their formation lap. P. David should pull away, which he does so now. So the drivers will go off on their formation lap, and it'll be a rolling start to kickstart round 4 of the championship. 40 points for a race win, 38 for second, 36 for third. It's a 2-point difference between each position from first to 11th. And then from 11th to 30th, it's a 1-point difference. You get 1 point for finishing 30th. But since we've got 26 cars here tonight, if they all finished, everyone will get at least 5 championship points. So P. David on pole, Drifter alongside with Vodka and Vodka next in third and fourth. We've got Dim Adjuster and MGK on row 3 ahead of Lewis Robinson and Will Freeman in 7th and 8th. Blizzle and Busov rounding out the top 10. Aldori and Moggs are 11th and 12th, followed by Law and Palermo. Moritz and Makovsky are 15th and 16th ahead of Hutchinson and Davis Jr. Andy and Ray are 19th and 20th, followed by Clay and Blair, with Mertens, L. Prentice, Jay Prentice and Frank completing the grid. Can we see a number of drivers carving their way through the field? Now, the pit window will open 1 minute after the race starts, so anyone can come in from the end of lap 1 to complete their mandatory stop. So P. David hopes to get offline. He'll be on the left-hand side, so he'll have the inside line coming into what is turn 2. Turn 1 is the small kink on the pit straight before the first braking zone of Crowthorne. And the drivers are beginning to form up in rows of 2 now, getting ready for the start for round 4 of 10 in the Formula Racing League Assetto Corsa Competizione in these GT3 cars. And when the green flag is waved, the race can begin. And it's go with P. David on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side of your picture, we'll have the inside line as they come into turn 1. We've got Rapid Duck going for it on Drifter. He breaks a little bit later. He should move in front here. P. David leads then. And we've got 3 abreast as Rapid Duck gets past Drifter and he's up into second place. So Rapid Duck moving ahead of the reserve drivers for tonight. So P. David leads then ahead of Rapid Duck with Drifter in 3rd. We've got Vodka has dropped back a little bit because Dim Adjuster's got ahead of him for 4th place. We've got what looks like Will Freeman, who's up there in 6th position. The positions will update through sector 1. And it seems as though everyone's got through there unscathed and no collisions so far, which is great to see. So there's your race order. Will Freeman's in 6th position, MGK 7th, ahead of Lewis Robinson, Provisional and Boostoff, running out the top 10 so far. So P. David continuing to pull away so far. At least he tries to, and no mistakes so far from the Honda driver. But he knows there is a long way to go yet. Team Adjuster ahead of Vodka when it's Freeman who gives chase. And Vodka goes defensive as they go into Crocodile. And Vodka holds his line and position. And we've got Vizzle and Bousov fighting over what looks like 9th place. Bousov nearly got the job done but had to back out of it. And we've got Law who has moved in front of Moggs into 12th position as the drivers come around to complete the first lap with P. David in the lead. Rapid Duck, the championship leader, up there in 2nd position, having a fine season so far. We've got Drifter in 3rd position, had a Dim Adjuster. Vodka still going defensive with Freeman in the fight for 5th. We've got a car running wide there, look like Law, who has carried too much speed into the corner and has dropped back from it. He's lost a position to Moggs, so Moggs moves up into 12th place as the drivers go through sector 1. And 6/10 is the gap. And now Aldori putting Bousov under pressure as they go into the left-hander of Clubhouse. And then through the S's they come. Aldori so determined to move up the order here. He's had quite a troublesome season so far, but a change of car may be the difference in his season. There was a green flag shown there for a moment, but it seems to have cleared away. But P. David is continuing out in front, but Rapid Dog is right on his tail, waiting for any mistake possible from the 925. So coming around to complete the second lap. P. David has posted a new fastest lap of the race so far. We'll have a look at the times in a moment. It looks like MGK's dropped down the order, and this explains why. I think he's had a spin somewhere and he's in the pits. So MGK in the pits, and I think Makovsky has also been in. In fact, he's been in since the end of the first lap. So Makovsky's race seems to be all but over, and MGK is in for his mandatory pit stop now. P. David in the lead. Rapid Duck, Drifter, Dim Adjuster, Vodka and Freeman is your top 6. And so Aldori is continuing to come through. He's in 10th place, and Laura's dropped back even further down the field. He's in 15th place behind Blair. And we've got Moritz in the mix, who, if you remember, he won at Suzuka 2 weeks ago. He's currently 17th. And as we watch a dice for position between 4 cars, perhaps 5 if you want to count that 22 of Hutchison in there. Hutchison is one of those trying to make up for lost time. He's got the inside line as they come towards the left-hander, and Hutchison goes through past what looks like Davids Jr., is it, in the 303? It is, so Moritz is through. No problem there. Lap 3 done. P. David clean as a whistle so far. We've got Dim Adjuster thinking about a move. Drifter goes defensive a little bit. We've got Freeman on the inside of Vodka. There may have been a little bit of contact between those two coming out of turn 2. And he's coming out of Barbecue. Freeman will be back for more. Robinson holding firm in 7th place with Pozizel and Busov, Aldori, Moggs, Palermo, Andy. We've got Blair, Law, Moritz, Ray Thomas in 17th. And we've got Davis Jr. in the pits to get his manager stop out of the way. Makovsky has rejoined the race, but he is a couple that's down on the field. So, unfortunately, there are no safety cars on this game. So, he's just got to hope that misfortunes of others favour him. He can actually get himself back into the action. Makovsky's in the 217. The drivers settling into the race now. There's not too much dicing going on. I mean, the closest battle we've got really is the battle for 16th. Well, not really. Law's dropped down the order. He's made a mistake somewhere. He's dropped down to 17th place actually. So Law is having a really tough race so far. Jay Prentice is done okay so far, though, in the Bentley. Coming through from the back. He's dicing it out with Clate. Frank in 20th place, and Hutchison seems to have dropped down the order, and there's your reason. The bonnet is damaged. Not good to see. And I think Hutchison will be in the pits at the end of this lap to get that damage sorted out. And you want to get that out of the pits before the leaders come round to lap him. So there's your race leader, P. David. And a fine race so far. Rapid Duck will be satisfied with his performance so far tonight in P2. We've got Vodka in P6, who has lost the position to Freeman now, so Freeman is able to get through past the Porsche driver. So Vodka running wide onto the curves. Robinson in P7. Professor Aldori, Busov, Moggs, Palermo. Palermo will be putting the Ferrari driver under pressure as they come onto the pit straight again. Moggs goes defensive early. I think Palermo is going to get the job done here. In fact, Moggs just lets him go. He knows there's perhaps no point fighting it. So Hudson has rejoined the race in 25th, and he stayed on the lead lap as well. is in the 22, but is he down a lap on the leaders? Oh, he has. He's gone for a spin almost, and he nearly took out Freeman. So Hutchinson needs to be very careful. He doesn't get in the way of the leaders here, so he stays out of the way. He's got his teammate coming up behind him now as well. So Hutchinson has got to make sure he does not hold him up either. Yeah, that could have been curtains there. I don't know if that's cold tyres. So Hutchinson with it all to do now in this race. It's been one to forget so far, but there's still a long way to go. So 10 minutes in. P. David in the lead with Rapid Duck second. Drifter third. Dim Adjuster fourth. Ahead of Freeman and Vodka. Robinson going strong in 7th place. Closing in the battle for 5th position. So Palermo in 11th with Moggs 12th. Andy in 13th. We've got Blair ahead of Morex. He looks for a move. We go for it into turn 2. And Blair stays. He went wide there as he tried to position the car for turn 2. So through Barbecue. It's Blair ahead of Morex. Oh, Morex has gone off the track and he's spun off and into the barrier. Now Morex has hit the barrier on the exit of turn 6 of Sunset, and he's done more than a carbon copy of what Hutchinson did earlier. Spun off the circuit and hit the wall. I can imagine that'll be him off into the pits at the end of this lap. So Rapid Duck in 2nd place. Drifter keeping in touch. And Morex has dropped down the order horribly. I think he's down to 22nd place now. As Frank looks to make a move on Mertens here. The two making contact there. Will they keep it clean? No, they won't. They come together there, and Morex avoids the pair of them. So Mertens and Frank continue on. As Frank comes in, I think Morex is giving it a bit of a nudge actually, and Frank carried on. So Morex into the pits to get his stop done out of the way. So he picks up damage after going off at turn 6. The Rapid Duck is still keeping hold of P2 ahead of Drifter. P. David is only just less than a couple of seconds ahead of Rapid Duck. Drifter in 3rd. Dim Adjuster in the fight at the moment still. That's MGK in the foreground coming through. I think Morex, has he rejoined the circuit? Yeah, he has. So he's going to be needing to move out of the way of those coming down the pit straight. But he will be in a fight with Hutchinson shortly, so he stays out of the way there and slots in behind Robinson. Palermo is in as well. His only stop of the race. As P. David continues on his way. Drifters dropped back a little bit from Rapid Duck. Robinson 7th, Dizzle 8th, Aldori 9th, Busov 10th. We've got Moggs ahead of Andy, with Blair, Ray, Law, Clay, Prentice, Joe Prentice that is. Palermo's done his stop now, should stay on the lead lap. There is the 303 coming round, which is David Senior, and he should get out in front of him, no problem. So that's played out nicely for Palermo. Oh, that's a mistake there from P. David, and Rapid Duck's got him. So Rapid Duck has taken advantage of a mistake from P. David, who lost time in the last sector, ran wide at Crocodile, and has handed the lead over to Rapid Duck now at the end of lap 9. It could have been worse, but that was that from P. David, who's done everything right in this race so far. Not out of the frame for victory by any means, as he looks to push Rapid Duck into a mistake. It's allowed the top 4 to come closer as well now. So we've very much got a race on our hands. We're on lap 10 of this race. So we've got the Honda and the Aston Martin glued together. Not literally. Can Drifter do what Rapid Duck did to P. David on the last lap and make a move? Not bump his way out of the way, but pull off a move that's robust but fair. So we are 17 minutes into this race. Rapid Duck is your new race leader, the race winner of Silverstone last week, going for 2 wins in a row. Drifter in P3, with Freeman and Vodka in their own battle for 5th. Robinson closing on these 2 as well, so he's very much in contention here, possibly for a podium. He can get his pit stop right. Papizzle having his best race of the season so far in the Audi in 8th. We've got Aldori 9th ahead of Busov. And we've got Andy ahead of Blair, who is fighting it out with Ray and Law. So we've got the 2 Mercedes AMG drivers backing out with another Mercedes AMG. And Ray looking to the outside, going into turn 2. Oh, that was... He turning on Blair by the looks of it, so it was a little bit naughty that from Ray. His teammate looks to get in there now as well, riding over the curbs, and Law has got in front of Ray now for 14th place. And Jay Prentice in the pits now in the Bentley. Joe Prentice is still in the pits at the moment, but I would expect him to come out. I'll leave his box soon. And these are coming round now, so... Rubber Duck ahead of P. David. The Drifter had dim adjuster. First, second, third, fourth, all in your picture. A further 3 seconds back from these quadruplet is Freeman in fifth. He's fighting out with Vodka and Robinson. I wonder who will blink first and duck into the pits before the others. We've got a car round on the exit of turn 2. I think Laura's gone for a spin and has continued. So he's lost a position to Ray and Clay and El Princess and Frank and Mertens, I think, now as well. I think he's just ahead of them, actually. So Laura down to 17th place. And, oh, is that an off there from one of the drivers, though? Is that just to move out of the way of the leaders? I think it was just to move out of the way of the leaders. That might have been... Just looking to see who that was that... Well, it was Makovsky, who's down a couple of laps already, so... no danger to the leaders. Makovsky's had a lackluster day already so far. Now, who's going to go for it here? Will it be P. David into in turn 2, sorry. He knows what he can do. Now the field coming towards sunset, and there is a back mark ahead of Rupert. That's the 23 of MGK. We've got Blair in the pits now. It looks like... Is that Vodka who's closing in there, or is that a back marker? I think that may well be a back marker that's closing up behind, as MGK stays out of the way of the leaders, which is very wise. So it's Dim Adjuster, who I was trying to mention, actually. I haven't spoken much about him in this race so far, but he's done very well to stay in touch with the leaders, which is very, very good to see. And Rapidoc is trying to break the toe on the pit straight. He pulls to the left-hand side, but P. David is reading into it and stays right on his tail. And we could see a change for the lead again, because P. David's going to the outside. Rapidoc has already made his one move before they go into turn 2. And can P. David get the switch back? Can't quite do it. Rapidoc holding his line and position. He runs wide on the exit of Barbecue, and it looks like P. David may get a run on him on this back straight here as they go towards sunset. P. David on the outside. Can he get through? No, he doesn't. Rapidoc shuts the door yet again on the Honda driver. And this has allowed Drifter and Dim Adjuster to get in the fight now as well. This is almost like a Formula 4 race now, isn't it? Now P. David still going for the move around the outside. Needs to be careful because he's opening the door for Drifter to slot down the inside. Can't do it there, and we watch Drifter having to stay behind P. David for now. This is amazing to say. Brilliant battle between the top 4 in the race. I wonder who might blink first into the pits. It's Drifter. So Drifter is blinking first. He feels an undercut is possible round here. It's doubtful he'll rejoin in traffic, so that's probably why he's done that. We'll stay in touch with the top 2 because they are still in combat. So Rapiduck in the lead still. P. David in P2. Dim Adjuster in third place now on track. And Drifter has not left his box yet. He will do shortly. And Drifter has exited his box. Is he going to rejoin ahead of the 433 of El Princess? I don't think he will do. No, he's behind him. There's Rapiduck ahead of P. David. Dim Adjuster, Will Freeman. MGK is sandwiched in between this lot, but he isn't causing too much disruption. So that pit stop for Drifter has put him out in traffic, actually, so I have to take my word back for what I said earlier about rejoining traffic after the pit stop. And we've got P. David coming into the pits now from second place. He's responding to Drifter coming in the lap before. So this is an important pit stop in the race. So Drifter trying to find a way past Mertens. Goes out onto the curb. To the outside. Does he get through? Not that time. He'll go to the outside though, into the right-hander of Crocodile. He's already got in front of Frank, or at least rejoined in front of him anyway. P. David has done his stop now. He's left his box. Is he going to go in front of Drifter though? I think he will do, because Drifter is stuck behind the McLaren of Mertens. So P. David has done his stop. He's rejoined ahead of Drifter. Drifter's tyres will be more into the optimum window though. Who gets up the inside of Mertens? Does Mertens leave him enough room? He does. Drifter can't find a way through though. So we'll have to wait behind for now and bide his time. Wait for another opportunity to overtake. Now which way is he going to go here? Because Mertens needs to make sure he leaves room, and would you believe it? Drifter has pulled off a magnificent manoeuvre around the outside into Sunset, and that's moved him up to 14th place on track, and now he can go after P. David. We've got the top two in, so Rapiduck and Dim Adjuster are in the pits. These stops are vitally important. Now we could see P. David back into the lead here, and we could well see Drifter going up into P2. We're approaching the halfway point in this race now, 28 minutes in. The drivers' headlights are starting to come on now, so could well be falling into darkness before the checkered flag. And Dim Adjuster has done his stop. Is he going to get ahead of Rapiduck? No, he's not. Rapiduck stays ahead. And he's going to rejoin ahead in the lead still, effectively. Now, where's P. David? He's on the pit straight. And I think Dim Adjuster's got the jump on the pair of them by the looks of it. And it looks like he has. Where is Dim Adjuster? He is behind P. David, but ahead of Drifter. So Drifter has lost out in the pit stops by being stuck in traffic. Now Will Freeman is in the lead temporarily. Vodka now second, with Lewis Robertson in third place. I reckon they'll try and go long as far as possible, but it depends on how much they fuel the car. Vodka is next to come into the pits. No, he needs to slow down to that 50 kilometre per hour pit lane speed limit. It looks like Frank... Is that MGK in the pits still? It is MGK in the pits, and he's been in there for some time, so... Could well be his race done, but I may well be wrong. Aldori is in, as is Busov. So Vodka, we expect him to rejoin behind Drifter, depending on how quick he gets his pit stop done. Yeah, MGK had an off somewhere, I think, so that could well be his race done. So it could move Mikovsky up a position. And it looks like Vodka has done his stop now, but where is he going? He might get a jump here on Dim Adjuster and Drifter, actually, thinking of it. And it looks like he has done. He's got ahead of them. So Vodka has jumped 2 cars. He was behind Freeman earlier as well. And he's got... Well, if he's rejoined ahead of Dim Adjuster and Drifter, that means he'll get in front of Freeman. Unless Freeman can pull off a fast and furious pit stop. In case you're wondering what the yellow flag is for, it's for MGK that's in the pits. So we've got a different order to what we anticipated. Rapidog in the lead. P. David has got the fastest up of the race so far. I'd be interested to know when he set that time. There are, Freeman and Robinson are in the pits now for your information, so we'll come to that very quickly. Lap 3 was when P. David set the fastest up of the race. So Freeman in his box now. Robinson stops in his box. So we've got Rapidoc pulling away from P. David. He's got quite a margin over him, actually, over 4 seconds. Rapidoc is flying on his new tyres. And we've got Ray and Clay coming in. So we've only got 4 drivers now who have yet to make their mandatory stops. And we've got what looks like Mikovsky coming back into the pit lane. He's already made his mandatory stop. He's well down the order anyway. So Freeman has done his stop. Now, what about the likes of... Well, Pete Davis through. Vodka is through by the looks of it. Let's have a look. Yeah. Dim Adjuster and Drifter should be through as well. Although Freeman goes side by side with Drifter into turn 2. Now, Drifter will have the inside line for 3. And Drifter just about gets his nose in front. So Freeman reluctantly conceded. And if he's going to pass these guys, he'll have to do it on track. And he's lost out also to Vodka in the pit stop. So Freeman has lost out more than what he gained to begin with. At least it's closer now to what it was earlier. Although having said that, Rapidoc is continuing to pull out in front. It's a 3.6 second margin over P. David, so the gap has come down slightly, but not significantly. It's Pofizzle in the lead now, in the Audi. Don't know how much fuel he's put on in that car, but he could well afford himself to go further and further. And Moggs is coming up to lap what looks like L Prentice, I should say. And he flashes his headlights at what looks like MGK is... Oh no, that's not MGK. I think that might be... Is that Frank he's trying to flash his headlights at? It looks like it. And Frank stays out of the way, but needs to be wary of El Prentice's presence. And El Prentice takes advantage of the open door and he goes through and up into 21st place. So P. David, 3.6 seconds behind Rapidoc, with less than 26 minutes remaining. And Puffisel comes in for his mandatory stop now. I didn't think it would go that long, to be honest with you. But can he complete a quick enough pit stop and maybe get out in front of Robinson? Definitely ahead of Aldori. Got two other cars in the pits. I think they are staying there for good now. MGK and Mikovsky. So Moggs takes over the lead then in the Ferrari. And there's Rapid Duck coming through. And Postwhistle, has he done his stop yet? He has not yet. He has now though. P. David goes through, as is Dim Adjuster and Vodka and Drifter, who's trying to make a move actually. On the inside of Vodka as they approach turn 2. And this is going to be a change in position, I think. Vodka runs wide and Drifter goes past him and Freeman goes through as well. So Freeman has got through by the looks of it, ahead of Vodka, and he's got up into what is now going to be 7th position. So Freeman back ahead of Vodka, who's dropping back. And Professor rejoined ahead of Mertens, who's still yet to stop in this race, and Professor is behind Robinson. It's been a fine effort so far from Moggs. Clean race all the way through. And he continues to stay out there. And Andy. Probably looking at around a top 12 finish or something like that. He hasn't scored a point yet this season. Vodka behind Freeman in the battle for 7th. And Vodka running wide. He's trying to get the best traction possible on the pit straight. Here they go. And Mertens in the pits now. It's just 2 left, yet to pit. Vodka looking to make amends and make a move. And looks to the inside, they come up to the left-hander. And that's a very nice move on Freeman there. So Vodka getting back ahead of Freeman as they approach, as they were going through the S's. And now it looks like Robinson looking to make his first move of the race and get through as well. Round the outside he goes. And Vodka does not quite get the move done. Moggs in the pits now, though. So he's in, as is Andy. So every driver has now pitted. The question is, where will Moggs and Andy rejoin once they've done their stops? Mertens has rejoined what looks like in 18th place, although I think it may be down a little bit further than that. He's down to 20th after that pit stop. Moggs is still in the pits. Freeman has gone through, as is Robinson. Provizzle should go up to 8th. Aldori's coming round, but Moggs is approaching the pit exit now. But Aldori's ahead, as is Busov. Palermo running in 13th still. .4 seconds between Rapiduck in the lead and P. David in P2. Team adjuster in P3. Drifter 4th. Vodka 5th. And it's Freeman, Robinson and Fizzle going very strong. Moggs is rejoining 11th place. Andy in 12th. I'll still be on fresher rubber than those who have pitted earlier. No one's been penalised in this race, either for pit lane speeding or for exceeding track limits. Got a third of the race to go. Duck Duck approaching the end of his 23rd lap. You're expecting around 34 laps, I'd have thought. And 3 seconds is the margin, and P. David is cutting down the gap. Team adjuster in 3rd place with Drifter ahead of Vodka, who's fighting it out with Freeman again. It's been a ding-dong battle between these two throughout this race. And it's Freeman who goes to the outside as they approach turn 2. He runs too far out wide, I think, but he'll have the inside line into 3. Goes out onto the curves. Freeman leaves the door open still for Vodka to get back through, but needs to watch for Robinson, who is looking to take advantage of a potential open door. He can't get through at the moment. But it's Vodka who stays in 5th place, although Freeman is trying to go round the outside. And it's a brilliant move from Freeman to put himself up into 5th place. Vodka is still keeping his foot in it. The two make contact, but Freeman should have the inside line into the S's and go back through again. Nicely done. This is not the end of the battle by any means. It will probably go on until the checkered flag. Vodka needs to watch Robinson, who's making a move. Vodka barges his way past Freeman, and Robinson has got past the pair of them. So Robinson, after the... Oh, this contact though! Robinson's in the wall! He can nearly collect Vodka on the way out! Goodness gracious me! That's a shocker. Absolute shocker. It was Freeman who put Robinson in the wall. What an absolute disaster. Robinson, the innocent party and all of that, I have to say. And Freeman's struggling with the handling at the moment. Vodka, luckily, to escape from that contact unscathed. Especially when Robinson came back onto the racetrack and nearly wiping him out. Robinson back in the pits. Struggling to get the car in. What must he be feeling? So all that drama has seen Fizzle up to 6th place now. Aldori 7th. Busov 8th, and Freeman has dropped down to 9th place. What rotten luck for Lewis Robinson. So 2.9 seconds is the gap between the top two. Team adjuster in 3rd place with Drifter, continuing to catch him. Vodka has got another battle on his hands with Fizzle, who's closing in on him all the time. So Freeman in 9th, approaching Busov and Aldori ahead. Aldori runs wide, Busov looking to take advantage. Can't quite do so, and Freeman will be looking to get his Audi back into the mix here. And Robinson is still in the pits at the moment. I don't think he's going to rejoin the race, to be honest with you, so that's his race all but done. It's been a miserable day for his teammate as well. So it looks as though the FRL Admin Elite Motorsport squad are going to lose the lead in the team's championship after today. Hodgson down the order in 21st position. So it looks as though that Rapidox points potentially is going to move the Tuga Racer team into the lead of the championship in that respective category. But P. David is closing in all the time. It's 2.3 seconds. So P. David is absolutely getting the hammer down. We've got a battle for third place still at the moment between Dim Adjuster and Drifter. We've got a battle between Vodka and Pavissel. I wonder if Vodka's car has been somewhat dented by the contact he had with Freeman at Lucot. It's been Pavissel's best race of the season so far. He's been consistent during the course of the campaign. 13th at the Hungaroring, 13th at Suzuka, 9th at Silverstone. And he's on course for a 6th place finish, maybe even 5th, if he can get by Vodka in the closing laps. Oh, he's drifting out through Sunset there, but he's been able to collect it. He's lost ground though to Vodka. And it looks like Aldori's pulled away from Busov and Freeman stopped behind the pair of them. There's Andy in 11th, Palermo, and his junior ahead of Ray. He's having another off day so far. Off the pace last week at Silverstone, he's been off the pace here today as well. And he's going to lose ground in the championship. As it stands, Rapidoc would obviously extend his lead in the title battle. The question is, who would go into second place? I think Ray would still be in second. So the gap at the top, well, Ray would at the moment be collecting 17 championship points. Rapidoc would be collecting 41 because he got the point for pole position earlier on. Oh no, he didn't. He didn't get pole position earlier on. My apologies. P. David got pole position. So it would be a gap of 45 points as it stands. Still a long way to go yet, and do take note that only a driver's 9 best results count towards the Drivers' Championship. So one of Rapidoc's results will have to be discounted. It'll be his least best score. Whatever that best score may be is anyone's guess. It's been a splendid drive from Rapidoc, but P. David is not giving up. But Bizzle is closing back in again on Vodka. There's 1.3 seconds the gap up front. It's 1.1 seconds the gap. Going through sector 1 on this lap. It's got over just 10 minutes to go. And the leaders are coming up to some back markers now. So this could decide the race, really. So many cars up ahead of him. I think that's Hutchison in the BMW up ahead, with Mertens, Frank and El Prentice also in the battle. So there's a group of 4 cars. Robinson's rejoined the race as well, by the way, down in 23rd place. Jay Prentice has been in the pits for some time, so I don't know if he's going to carry on. He should do. Eight tenths is the gap. It's just a matter of time before P. David can get through here. Is he taking too much life out of those tyres? Or is he doing exactly the right thing? Well, the gap will come down at the end of this lap. It's half a second now. After 29 laps. So P. David looks for a move, a little sniff up the inside though into turns 2 and 3. So he's giving Rapid Duck all the fright that he needs. He's going to take a mistake really for Rapid Duck to buckle under pressure, but he's not buckling at the moment. And I'm not sure that Rapid Duck is quite showing the pace of what we've seen in the last few laps. So if we look at his lap times, they've not been as quick as what they were earlier on in the race. Pete David holds the fastest up of the race at the moment. Now, is that still from what he posted earlier? Let's have a look. He set his best lap of the race on lap 23. Yeah, I think Rapid Duck is struggling on his second set of tyres in comparison to P. David. P. David staying right on his tail. And we're seeing a move up ahead as Hudson runs wide. He stays out of the way of the leaders. As Mertens gets past Prentice now, whilst we watch the battle for the lead still. I would say we've got round about 5 laps to go, maybe 4. I think it'll depend on how quick the leaders get quickly through the back markers. But P. David is still putting the BMW under pressure as they approach sunset. Was not very clever driving really from Prentice. He needs to move out of the way as soon as he can here, and you can see Rapid Duck trying to flash his headlights at him to make sure to make him know that he's actually there. And Prentice stays out of the way for Rapid Duck by the looks of it. Will he stay out of the way of P. David as well? P. David goes for the move on the inside, but the two make contact, and P. David goes for a spin. That was far too ambitious from P. David. Came from too far back. He may have a case on that later. He's now lost second and third to Dim Adjuster and Drifter. He should have waited, P. David. That was way too ambitious, and that's going to give Rapid Duck the fight he needs, but he needs to be careful because he's making contact with Prentice, who's refusing to move out of the way of the leaders. Now, I can imagine the stewards will get involved in this, because this is not the kind of driving standards you would expect to see, even in the top tier. You can see Rapid Duck flashing his headlights all the time, and he'll be livid with old Prentice here. Still doesn't move out of the way, so I don't think this race is done by any means. 4 laps to go then in this race here in Kyalami. And I'd imagine Rapid Duck may have some damage to the front of that. Slight damage. So Prentice, does he move out of the way? You know, this, if he holds him up, the stewards will get involved. He lets him through, although Rapidoc will be absolutely livid with Prentice there, because he very, very nearly took him out of the race. So Dim Adjuster in second place, Drifter third. We've got a battle for second now between these two. And Provizzle is right on the rear of Vodka as well. And that will most certainly go all the way to the checkered flag. Now, can Provizzle make a move here? He doesn't do what P. David did on the last lap. Stays behind Vodka for now. So Drifter in third place behind Dim Adjuster, who defends. And ahead of him are Hutchison and Prentice, who are fighting for position as well. Oh no, it's not, it's P. David. Oh no, it is El Prince. I was looking at the wrong livery actually. When I saw that white there, I thought it was P. David who might drop back, but no, it's not. So we watch Dim Adjuster dive into the inside of Hutchison, who stays out of the way. He'll also need to stay out of the way of Drifter, who's coming through as well. Now will Hutchison adhere to the blue flags? He hasn't left Drifter through yet, but he needs to do so very, very soon. And he makes it easier for Drifter as El Princess lets Dim Adjuster go through. Will he do the same to Drifter? So Drifter gets past, no problem. So P. David will have to content with fourth position. And Rapidoc is coming up to more back markers in the closing stages. Four seconds is the margin between Rapidoc and Dim Adjuster. I think the battle for the win is all but done now. The battle for second place is still on though, as Rapidoc is about to start the penultimate lap of the race. On course for 2 wins in a row and enhance his lead at the top of the Drivers' Championship. So Provizzle giving Vodka a good fight. Even if he doesn't get past him, he'll have done a stellar job tonight. Brilliant qualifying, or solid qualifying, and a solid race, keeping himself out of trouble. Freeman's got past Moggs and Aldoris. He's got himself back into 7th place. For Lewis Robinson, who's down in 23rd place, well, he'll have little to celebrate. So Rapidoc approaching Mertens, who's been holding him up for a whole lap, and he gets through now, Rapidoc, but that took longer than expected really for him to do that. .8 seconds is the margin between Rapidoc and Dim Adjuster in sector 2. The pit window has closed, but everyone has done all their stops. No one has been penalised in this race either, so drivers seem to have behaved themselves pretty much overall. I know we've had a few collisions or so, but not deliberate by any means. Rapidoc starts the final lap then, here in Kyalami. And what a splendid drive it's been from him since taking the lead from P. David. He's withstood the pressure. He was very lucky to avoid getting spun round as well by P. David when the pair of them were trying to lap the back marker. And it looks like a connection issue there, as far as Rapidoc is concerned. Now, have we lost? I think we've lost Rapidoc all of a sudden. So Dim Adjuster has inherited the lead on the last lap. There's been a connection issue involving Rapidoc, who's lost the race lead. Now, if I'm mistaken, whether it's a disconnection from my end in comparison to his connection, that is an absolute disaster. And Mertens has gone off the track as well, but he stays out of the way of the leaders. So Dim Adjuster has taken the lead on the last lap in the unlikeliest of circumstances. Drifter is going to come through in second place, and P. David is going to be on the podium. Unbelievable stuff. That's going to transform the situation in the championship ever so slightly. No doubt about that. So Dim Adjuster is coming through the last few turns then. Through Cheetah for the last time. Approaching Ingui for the last time. Drifter still continuing to push him into a mistake. But it's Dim Adjuster in the Audi who's going to win in Taco Tuesday in Kyalami. Well done to him. He wins out by half a second over Drifter, who comes home in second place. P. David on the podium, but it's so easily could have been a win. Had he not attempted that move on Rapidoc, he may well have got the race win. Vodka comes home fourth. Brilliant result for him, as is Pavissel. Best result of the season Best result of the season so far for him, if I can get my words out, in fifth place. Freeman sixth. Moggs, Aldori, Andy and Busov will round out the top 10. Then it's Palermo ahead of Clay. Davis Jr. ahead of Ray Thomas will be in 14th place. We've got Blair ahead of Morex, Law and Frank rounding off the finishes, or rounding off those on the lead lap. I would imagine that Rapidoc will get 18th place or 19th because he completed 34 laps before Mertens, Prentice, Hutchison and co. But we'll wait and see what the stewards say on that. Mertens has crossed over the line in 19th place. L. Prentice will be 20th. Hutchison, a lacklustre race again for him today, as for his teammate Lewis Robinson. MGK didn't finish, neither did Makovsky, and a couple of other drivers as well, including Rapidoc. And we also lost another driver. But Dim Adjuster is your race winner here in Kyalami in the Formula Racing League Assetto Corsa Competizione. Drifter in second place in the Aston Martin on his maiden appearance this season tonight. P. David in third for Honda, with Vodka in fourth place. Pavissel in fifth ahead of Freeman and Moggs. Aldori, Andy and Busov rounding out the top 10. Palermo was 11th, followed by Clate. Davis Jr. was 13th ahead of Ray. Blair, Morex, Law and Frank are next. Rapidoc will be classified in 19th position, so he should still get some points. Mertens 20th, L. Prentice, Hutchinson and Robinson next, with J. Prentice not finishing, neither did MGK and neither did Makovsky. Well. With Rapidoc not making it to the flag, shown in 19th position, which will still give him 12 championship points. That moves him onto 125. But his gap at the top will have closed down because Ray had finished in 14th place ahead of him. So the gap will have come down to 17 points, I'd have thought. It may even be less than that because Freeman came home in 6th place, which would have given him 30 championship points. That's correct. So, Rapidoc is still leading the championship, but he could so have easily been running away with the championship by now. The sole consolation, though, is that only the driver's best 9 results will count towards the championship. So, should Rapidoc not have a repeat of this malady, it may not be as much of a problem as first seems. In the team's championship, by the looks of the calculations, if I can just work it out, I believe that Pro Motion Motorsport are in the lead of the championship in that order, but it could well be TK Rex Motorsport. It keeps changing all the time in terms of the leadership in that particular battle. So the results will update on the Formula Racing League website, so you can keep yourself up to date with the standings and etc. Thank you very much for watching. Do make sure you like and subscribe if you have enjoyed that. There is also all the other championships in which the FRL does, including Mixed Mondays, Late Night Vodka Slummers, that's tonight, GT4 Thursday, Late Night Tequila Slummers, the Endurance Friday, and the GT3 Sunday. You can get involved in the chat in the Discord link, and you can also follow on Facebook and Instagram, and as I've already mentioned, like and subscribe as well. Thank you very much for watching us, and we'll do it again next week. The next round of the championship will be at Paul Ricard in France in a week's time. So 14th of February, the broadcast will begin around 8:15 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, with qualifying getting underway around about 8:30 p.m. GMT. We'll do it over again next week. Thank you very much for watching us, and we'll do it over again. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the Formula Racing League returns.